But it seems like the fashion industry is super excited about it, and we've known loads of brands that have been investing in it, like Gucci, Burberry, and so forth. How can brands that don't know much about it really get involved? Is there a way that you'd recommend that they can get involved in this space?
Well, of course, the larger brands are able to do it because they have large amounts of capital to put into their promotion. And at this moment, they're really treating it as a promotion, but it can be so much more than that. The way that designers or creatives can get involved is, of course, by learning the technology of digital yourself and creating digital content and listing it on these blockchain platforms. But this is also why we started this company, is because I realized that as creative people, we don't want to sit on a computer all day. That sucks. So we create a space where you can come to us with your creative content and we can build that for you. You don't have to know everything. That's not important.
We talked about education when we first met and how the education system, if you go to fashion school these days, to learn about all these new innovations can be pretty difficult. And that a lot of people that are already in the fashion industry need to figure out how they can also educate themselves. Are there any sources that you recommend for somebody who wants to educate themselves about all this new innovation so they can kind of keep up with what's going on?
I mean, it's always going to, a lot of the time it's always going to be self-education because we do have this amazing access to learning online. So a lot of the 3D programs, there's great tutorials all over YouTube. There's definitely a way in if you're excited and ready to take the time to learn. On the other hand, I do think it's really interesting, even for a school like Antwerp, where people are more, I want to say, cut and paste and need to work physically. I think it can be really interesting and really...
One question, it might be a controversial one for some. Some people say that NFTs are not environmentally friendly. I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
I would say that every early technology is really bad for the environment. You know, early cars, trains, planes, all of it, terrible stuff for the environment. We only figured that out very far down the line that these things were. At least now that there is societal demand for sustainable action. So even though these techs are very new and eating a lot of energy, I do see that it will move there are blockchains moving quite fast to have the sustainable edge. And so long as we are choosing to work with chains that are sustainably focused, then we are endorsing that.
Let's talk about the technology. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced the technology. It's not quite there yet.
No.
You know, and I always think that you need to look at potential of new technology as opposed to looking at what it's offering today. What are your thoughts on it? I mean, how long do you think the fashion industry has to wait until we get there? Do you have any predictions, any kind of hopes with regards to the technology?
I think the industry's been quite slow on it, mainly because a lot of the people working with digital fashion have been very tech-oriented, so the aesthetics up until a certain point were not beautiful. So someone like myself was looking in 2015 at some very shonky-looking aesthetics, going, oh God, no way, I would never attach myself to this kind of thing. But we're seeing now that this tech is moving very, very fast, and there's a large community mobilizing towards a future of the open metaverse.
What is your key takeaways? What do you want the audience to take away today from the discussion we're having?
I think that I know all this tech stuff is super insane, kind of weird. It's a lot of hard concepts to take on sometimes, especially if you're a creative person. But I would say I wouldn't be fearful of it. You don't have to know everything. You don't know everything that's under the hood of your car. You don't know everything that's inside your computer. You don't need to know exactly how it runs. You just need to know how it can benefit you. It's something we have to learn all of a sudden, the same way we learn how to use a mobile phone or we learn how to drive a car. It will become more user-friendly in the future. So I would just say, don't be afraid of it. Don't get spooked when someone says these words, because it will become much more prevalent in our lives in the future.